5 mythic battles between heaven and hell. When the archangel Lucifer rebelled against the Most High, he took with him a third of heaven's angelic host. Armed with divine weapons forged in the heart of dying stars, these celestial warriors battled for eons. But this was no ordinary war. It was a civil war. Brothers fought brothers, friends confronted friends. And as the conflict raged, the fate of the cosmos hung in the balance. This isn't just a story from the Book of Enoch or the Apocryphon of John. It's a warning to those who would challenge the divine order. A reminder that even angels who turn against the Almighty will face the consequences. For in the end, Michael and his loyalist forces triumphed over Lucifer and his fallen angels, casting them out of heaven and into the abyss. 4. The fall of the Watchers. Long before the days of Adam and Eve, there existed an ancient race of beings known as the Watchers. These angelic entities were said to have descended from the heavens in a fiery chariot, their mission to observe and guide humanity during its formative years. But as time passed, their intentions shifted from benevolent guidance to outright manipulation. In the Book of Enoch, they are depicted as curious about human affairs, to the point of indulging in earthly pleasures. Their leader, Azazel, even went as far as to sow discord among the humans, teaching them the art of war and providing them with deadly weapons. However, it didn't take long for the Watchers' actions to attract the attention of the Almighty, and when divine retribution came, it was swift and severe. God unleashed a great flood upon the earth, wiping out most of humanity and binding Azazel and his followers to the desolate plains of Dura. Some Watchers, like Azazel, received an additional punishment, being eternally banished and imprisoned in the desolate wasteland of the same name. This enigmatic figure, often referred to as the father of lies, is believed to be the source of evil and temptation in the world. His name synonymous with deceit and corruption. 3. The War in Heaven. The Book of Revelation paints a vivid picture of a cosmic showdown between the forces of good and evil, an epic war that has left an indelible mark on religious literature. The war in heaven, as described in Revelation 12, is not merely a battle between angels and demons. It's a clash of ideologies, a struggle between the dragon, symbolizing Satan, and Michael, representing the archangel. Michael and his heavenly hosts wage war against the dragon and its followers, but the celestial warfare doesn't end there. The dragon, wounded but not defeated, focuses its wrath on the woman who represents the Virgin Mary and her child, Jesus Christ. This conflict reaches a fever pitch when the dragon attempts to devour the child, only to be thwarted by divine intervention. The aftermath of this heavenly war profoundly impacts the fate of humanity. The dragon and its followers are cast out of heaven, setting the stage for their presence in the mortal realm. Meanwhile, the woman and the child find refuge on earth, until the child, who is prophesied to rule with a rod of iron, can assume his rightful place as king of the universe. 2. The Binding of Azazel. In the archaic texts known as the Testament of Solomon, King Solomon recounts an encounter with the enigmatic and dangerous demon Azazel. Summoned inadvertently by Solomon while he was constructing a ring, Azazel initially wreaks havoc, tormenting Solomon and his court. However, through cunning and divine assistance, Solomon manages to bind Azazel, imposing limitations on the demon's power and forcing it to serve as a slave. This binding is not just a tale of magical prowess. It's a symbolic representation of the struggle between the forces of good and evil. Azazel, often associated with chaos and destruction, is forced into servitude, highlighting the ultimate triumph of order over chaos. This echoes the broader Judeo-Christian narrative, where demons and evil spirits are subjected to the will of the divine. Moreover, the story underscores the importance of obedience and reverence for the divine. Solomon, despite his wisdom and power, is nearly undone by his own curiosity and pride. He is reminded of the potential consequences of challenging the unknown. 1. The Final Battle, Armageddon. The word Armageddon conjures images of fire and brimstone, of angels and demons locked in an eternal struggle. This isn't just a biblical apocalypse, it's a prophecy, a looming shadow that has haunted humanity since the dawn of Christianity. The book of Revelation provides a dramatic vision of this final confrontation, a battle where good and evil will clash in a decisive showdown. According to Revelation 16, the armies of the world gather at a place called Armageddon, marking the culmination of a series of events that test humanity's faith and endurance. At the center of this conflict is the Antichrist, a figure of immense power and deception who deceives many into joining his cause. However, the narrative takes a dramatic turn with the return of Jesus Christ. His appearance ushers in a wave of divine judgment, particularly against those who have aligned themselves with the Antichrist. The climax of the battle reaches a fever pitch with the defeat of the Antichrist and his followers, leading to a period of peace and restoration known as the Millennium. The finality of Armageddon is both terrifying and hopeful. It signifies the end of suffering and the triumph of good over evil, offering solace to believers while serving as a stark warning to those who stand against the teachings of Christ. These battles echo through history, not just as religious narratives, but as foundational myths that have shaped civilizations. They've inspired art, literature, and entire cultures. But beyond their historical influence, these battles raise profound questions about the nature of good and evil, the struggle between light and darkness, and the role of free will in determining our destinies. As we ponder these ancient conflicts, we're not just exploring tales of heroism and villainy. We're confronting the very essence of what it means to be human, to choose between right and wrong, and to face the consequences of our decisions. These battles aren't confined to the pages of old books. They're reflected in the choices we make every day, in the battles we wage against our own inner demons, and in our collective struggle to bring light into the darkest corners of our world. And now, it's your turn. Which of these battles resonates with you the most? And how do you think these stories continue to shape our world today? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your voice matters. And together, let's keep these echoes of the past alive. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this journey through ancient conflicts, don't forget to subscribe for more captivating stories from history's grand tapestry. Your support means the world to us. Until next time, stay curious, stay engaged, and above all, stay informed. The past is never truly past. It's a living, breathing part of our present and future. Let's explore it together.